A few weeks ago, I made a video about the lost hub airports of the United States. In the intro, I mentioned Memphis International Airport, but didn't actually dive into the airport itself. Not only did I see the comments asking for Memphis, but you also suggested a ton of other airports. If you haven't checked out part 1 yet, let me remind you to do that after you watch this video. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram as I post a ton of aviation content over there. Both links are in the description. Without further ado, let's get into part 2 of America's Lost Hub Airports. In 2005, Memphis was Northwest Airlines' third largest hub, behind only Detroit and Minneapolis, which made it a major force in the airline world. From this southern anchor, Northwest operated over 220 daily flights, reaching nearly 100 destinations spanning from Canada and the U.S. Southeast to Mexico and Europe. The hub served as a feeder network. Regional affiliates like Mesaba and Pinnacle flew Saab 340s, CRJs, and Avro RJ85s from towns such as Little Rock, Huntsville, Knoxville, and Fayetteville, connecting travelers to Memphis and onto their wider network. Meanwhile, mainline jets, MD-80s, A320s, and 757s linked Memphis to major business centers like Chicago, Dallas, New York, and Los Angeles. What truly set Memphis apart, though, was its transatlantic service. In June 1995, KLM began a non-stop MD-11 flight to Amsterdam, Memphis's first ever direct flight to Europe, and Northwest later took over the route with DC-10s and Airbus A330s. At its peak, Northwest scheduled around 300 daily flights through Memphis, making it a true global gateway. But the landscape changed drastically after Northwest merged with Delta in 2008. Delta already had a dominant hub in Atlanta, and Memphis quickly became redundant. Within a few years, the daily departures collapsed, from hundreds to about 60 daily flights by 2013, marking the effective end of the hub. Passenger numbers tell you the rest of the story. Memphis handled over 11 million passengers in 2006, but traffic plunged to around 4.9 million by 2024. But while the passenger hub faded, Memphis was forging a new and arguably even more impactful identity. In 1973, FedEx moved its operations to Memphis. Starting with just 14 planes and a bold promise of overnight delivery, the company tapped Memphis's central U.S. position to build what's now known as FedEx Express World Hub. Today, the facility is the world's largest air cargo operation. It spans 940 acres, includes 171 aircraft gates, and employs over 13,000 team members. In 2024, FedEx completed a $1.5 billion modernization, unveiling a new 1.3 million square foot automated sorting facility capable of processing 56,000 packages per hour and orchestrating nearly 484,000 packages per hour across the hub. Every night, more than 150 FedEx aircraft fly in and out of Memphis. The planes are unloaded, sorted, reloaded, and flown out, all within hours, powered by conveyor belts, scanners, trucks, and even a state-of-the-art hub operations command center. So while Memphis may no longer be a passenger hub, its role in global logistics has never been more vital. When the world's time-sensitive goods fly across the globe, they often fly through Memphis. In the 1970s and 80s, Kansas City International served as a major hub for trans-world airlines. When the airport opened in 1972, it was seen as the future of air travel. Its drive-up-to-the-gate design was revolutionary, and TWA took full advantage, basing both flights and maintenance operations there. At its peak, TWA's presence in Kansas City was massive. The airline employed more than 6,000 workers at its base and another 2,000 in corporate offices, making it one of the city's largest employers at the time. MCI was a key piece of TWA's domestic strategy, connecting the Midwest cities to cities across the country. By the late 1970s, MCI was handling nearly 6 million passengers annually, with dozens of TWA departures each day to cities like New York, Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, and Dallas. Some flights even extended internationally, including service to London via New York and code shares with partner carriers. But then came the Airline Deregulation Act of 1978, and the economics of running a hub changed dramatically. TWA began to shift focus towards St. Louis in the 1980s, which offered better connectivity and less geographic overlap with other carriers. While Kansas City still had a strong TWA presence for years, it was no longer the center of gravity. In the 1990s, TWA's financial troubles mounted. The Kansas City base hung on until the airline's eventual acquisition by American Airlines in 2001. The final TWA flight, number 220, departed from MCI to St. Louis on December 1, 2001, bringing a symbolic close to both the airline and its long-standing history in Kansas City. Today, MCI is still a busy and growing airport thanks in large part to low-cost carriers like Southwest. The city recently opened a brand new terminal in 2023, replacing the outdated horseshoe layout with a modern, consolidated design. Much like Pittsburgh International Airport, which also transitioned away from being a hub, Kansas City made the strategic decision to downsize and simplify its footprint to prioritize convenience over hub complexity. By consolidating terminals and focusing on passenger experience, MCI aims to provide a streamlined travel experience suited to its current role as a busy but non-hub airport. In the late 1980s, Raleigh-Durham International Airport emerged as a significant hub for American Airlines. The airline constructed a new Terminal C, which opened in June 1987 to facilitate its hub operations. This expansion included a new apron and runway, accommodating the increased traffic and operations associated with the hub. American initiated service to 38 cities from RDU, marking a significant expansion of the airport's connectivity. During its peak in the early 1990s, American operated up to 211 daily departures from RDU, serving 64 destinations. This extensive network included both domestic and international flights, with notable routes to London Gatwick and Paris Orly. However, despite the initial success, the hub faced challenges. The competitive landscape included Delta's hub in Atlanta and US Air's hub in Charlotte, which impacted RDU's performance. Additionally, the hub operated at a loss, even during its heyday in the early 1990s, similar to American's hub in Nashville. These financial pressures led American to reevaluate its hub strategy. In 1995, American announced the closure of its Raleigh hub, citing increased competition and unprofitable operations as primary reasons. The decision marked the end of an era for RDU as a major airline hub. Following the closure, Midway briefly operated a hub at RDU until it ceased operations in 2003. Today, RDU continues to serve as a vital airport in the region with a modernized terminal and a diverse range of domestic and international flights. In fact, RDU has gained significant services from airlines both domestic and international, as the Raleigh-Durham region has seen significant growth in the last decade. Although RDU is no longer a hub for a single airline, the airport offers nonstop services to London, Paris, Frankfurt, Reykjavik, and more nonstop destinations in North America. If you want a deeper dive into what's making RDU successful, go check out my last video on BWI, where I dive in the economics of mid-sized airports. In 1988, American Airlines acquired California-based AirCal, instantly gaining a presence at San Jose International Airport and aiming to build a Silicon Valley hub. By 1990, they even opened a dedicated Terminal A to support their growing operations. Then, in March of 1991, American launched a bold international route, San Jose to Tokyo Narita, using DC-10s, the city's first ever nonstop flight to Asia. While the aircraft couldn't depart with a full load on SJC's relatively short runway, American later switched to MD-11s to maintain the route. But American didn't stop there. By April 2001, they had introduced the airport's first transatlantic service, nonstop SJC to Paris Charles de Gaulle aboard a Boeing 767. That summer, San Jose also gained nonstop flights to Taipei alongside continuing service to Tokyo and Paris, while domestic routes connected to Austin, Boston, Denver, Honolulu, Portland, Phoenix, Seattle, and more. Despite the fanfare, the hub failed to take flight in the longer term. Constrained by airport size, runway limits, and stiff competition from nearby SFO and Oakland, Americans struggled to maintain profitable operations. In the early 2000s and following its merger with U.S. Airways, AA gradually cut back its San Jose hub, folding routes back into major hubs with better infrastructure and economics of scale. Today, SJC has found a new life as a vital point-to-point gateway for Silicon Valley. While no longer a hub, it offers a mix of low-cost domestic and seasonal international flights that cater directly to tech sector travelers. American's failed hub was ambitious, and while it didn't last, it did make travelers realize there was another option for flights in the Bay Area. In 1985, American Airlines announced plans for a hub at Nashville International Airport and officially opened it in 1986. They built a new 15-gate concourse and invested over $115 million to turn BNA into a north-south connecting point across the USA. By 1993, Nashville hub operations peaked with 265 daily departures to 79 destinations, including domestic flights across the US and even a transatlantic route to London. The hub was pitched as essential to growing Nashville's economy, attracting major employers like Nissan and Saturn. Yet by the early 1990s, the hub began draining money. Americans cited slow local demand and economic pressure as primary factors. They scaled back service in 1994 and officially closed their hub in 1995. Terminal gates were subleased and Southwest Airlines swooped in, eventually claiming over half the market and transforming BNA's airline landscape. Passenger trends mirrored this shift. BNA hit 10 million passengers in 1993 during peak hub days. After the hub closed, traffic dropped, but by 2013 it had climbed back to 10 million. The airport then surged to 18 million travelers in 2019 and reached another record of 21.9 million in 2023, handling over an average of 600 daily departures to nearly 100 nonstop destinations. Nowadays, Nashville is very similar to the likes of STL and BWI. I read your comments from the last video and I did realize that STL is very much a Southwest hub now. BWI has the same story. Piedmont merged with US Air and Southwest swooped in. All three of these airports have similar histories and now similar services. STL has a daily Lufthansa flight to Frankfurt, and both Baltimore and Nashville see daily London flights on British Airways. BNA is also, once again, expanding. Two expansion programs, BNA Vision and New Horizon, are expanding and revitalizing the airport. BNA Vision was completed in March of 2024 with the opening of the Hilton Hotel, and New Horizon aims to be completed by 2028. Well, there it is, part 2 of the lost hub airports of the United States. I honestly didn't expect to see this much support for a topic I thought was niche and not very interesting to the general public, but I'm so happy with how my recent airport videos have performed. If you want to see a part 3, let me know in the comments below and give me some more airports to cover. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see ya in the next one.